to be awakened, you must be enlightened to the real truth with consciousness. Our world is a matrix, a holographic movie. Get enlightened by watching The Strange Reality with Dave Emmons.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the show, The Strange Reality with Dave Emmons, and that's me right here. And I have a guest tonight, and I thought I was going to follow a certain pattern of what his training was in, his PhD, he's a doctor. And talking to him pre-show just a while ago, he knows a little bit about science, quite a bit, it sounds like to me. And he sounds like a great guy who's been around. And just want to ask the people out there to believe that we do have UFOs and ETs. Let's don't doubt that, and let's don't doubt one another. I think sometimes we start doubting each other, what we've seen and done. We shouldn't do that, because even if they're just dreams can be implanted in your head, either by, I guess, spatial agents or by ETs, whatever. I said it. It can happen either way. But let's just rest assured that this disclosure, no matter how slow it is, a lot of us already know. We, in our own minds and what we've experienced as abductees, contactees, our unwilling partners or whatever in this whole mess of ETs and UFOs, they're real and they're out there and they're here. They're here with us, because I've seen that too. My guest, I'm going to bring him on board, and I just want people to think about the world things, the ideology of things that's going on in the world. Just do what, I believe in Jesus, and we talked about this a while ago, but I think Jesus come from somewhere else that other people may not agree with. So I don't want to get into that. I'll let my doctor friend here talk about that. But just the words he spoke is like love, be kind, help one another, and forgive. Those words are strong, and that's what we should always stay with here in this country and with each other. Here's I'm going to bring him on stage. Here's Dr. Robert J. Newton. Hi, Dr. Robert. I'm going to intro him here.
Nanu. You are absolutely right. It is undeniable that there were extraterrestrials here, and there still are. There were at least Anunnaki, and there were at least the Dracos, which might still be here.
Yeah.
And there's actually one of my first teachers in spirituality and metaphysics was Major Virgil Armstrong, who did a special forces guy who did the security detail for the Roswell crash. So I met him in about 1985, so I knew all this stuff before.
Okay, let me introduce you about your bio here. Dr. Robert J. Newton has lived his life much in the manner he writes, with a quest to surround himself with the highest level knowledge in the myriad of areas that ensure we live rich, full lives. Yes, you got to live. Don't be waiting to die. Live. His education has been extensive, ranging from speech and English at Cal State Fullerton to Juris Doctorate from American College of Law, and many certifications in alternative healing. He formalized his career in neuropathic medicine as he graduated of Clayton School of Natural Healing. Newton has lived to serve others, operating an award-winning landscape and design company for many years as a Christian Science healer for 2 decades, and more recently as an author, speaker, life and relationship coach. Yoga, metaphysics, and we just talked about that a while ago, spiritual sciences, natural healing, world religions, ancient Hermetic teachings. This philosopher and champion for the world has tapped into the roots of spirituality, sexuality, life, and love, all with the purpose to enlighten those with the common desire to utilize multiple methods and strategies to approach life more effectively, creatively, radiantly, and with great abundance. That sounds like a great long stuff there about enlightening people. I enjoy that, because that's what I do, Dr. Robert.
I know.
Dr. Robert J. Newton, thank you for coming on the show, and let's have a great conversation. We're going to probably do an hour, and we'll get that in there. We'll try to get as much as we can. It sounds like you can touch upon many topics. Dr. Robert J. Newton, what are you up to today? And I know you're writing now. Could you tell us a little bit about what you're doing now and what you want to do?
Yeah, well, one of the things I want to do is start building concrete or hempcrete houses with a 3D printer, but it's an expensive proposition because they're stronger. They can't be burnt. The termites can't eat them. You know, if the government decides to come through and burn your area like they did in Maui or that
Los
place up
Angeles.
north, yeah, Los Angeles, yeah, yeah, and it might be a good idea to have it like that. So I don't have a house like that now, but the next one I'm in, even though I know how to build with wood, ain't gonna have no wood in it.
Yeah. Now, do you think these fires? There's a lot of conspiracy on this, Dr. Robert. Do you think these fires were actually made by somebody or performed by somebody, like
Yes,
a heat
some of
ray
my,
or something?
yeah, possibly a laser. One of my very intelligent friends thinks this is a bunch of baloney. And he says there aren't any lasers like that. I said, well, the U.S. government just admitted that they have a space-bound laser like that. So much for,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
your theory.
And they said they say the color blue kind of it blows it off. I mean, it
Well,
can't penetrate.
they found that from the Lahaina fire. It makes me cry when I think about it because that was when I went to Maui, that was like the first place I went to, and I could feel so much love. It almost knocked me over.
Yeah.
And then
Hmm.
all these people get burned out of their houses that are like 80, 100 years old. And the county of Maui already had a redevelopment plan before that fire. So you got to think, an inquiring person would want to consider that,
Yeah.
that,
Uh,
that it didn't just happen.
Right. We're going to get into some quantum stuff, and we're going to get into some extraterrestrial stuff here pretty soon. But let's just gloss over some of your work. You have contemplating heaven on earth. That book is not finished. It's not published yet.
It's,
But could you
it's
could you tell us a little bit about it?
Okay, this book is finished, and the way it came into being was really weird because I found this article. Well, in the Vedic sciences in the Hindu, there's something called the yugas or the yugs, and there are four long cycles of time. Right now, we're in the Kali Yuga, which is the worst of the hit worst. It's like being in hell, and it's a little over, I think, 220,000 years. And after that, you go into heaven, which is the Sat Yuga, which lasts for, I think it lasts for 2 million years. Anyway,
Wow.
this yogi was talking about how we were going into this Sat Yuga, and it was against what I knew, but I kind of, because I have a Indian Vedic priest friend, and I checked with him after I started writing the book, and it would have been way easier to write this book if we were actually in this Sat Yuga. But he told me, no, Doc, we're still in the Kali Yuga, as as uh, Krishna was around when that actually started 5,100 years ago. So
Let me take you back to when we there's some people who think, and I had a dad that was like this. He said you go 6 feet down and that's it. That's when you die. No, that's not true. You do have
uh,
a soul, and we return. Where do we go, Dr. Robert, in your training and your investigations? Where do you
um,
think the soul goes?
um, in contradiction to the Christian belief, almost everyone goes to heaven. There's multi levels of heaven, and they're described in the Book of Enoch. There's about 6 levels.
Hmm.
There's a fourth dimension, which is the first level of heaven. There's the fifth dimension, which is the second level. There's a sixth dimension where the fallen angels have been entrapped by God but not killed by God, which shows that God is really loving, because when you're in the sixth dimension, you're in a really good place. You could be in the first or second dimension, which are the hell of hells. He could have sent them there. but he didn't.
Yeah.
So, uh, uh, yeah, we make that transition really easy, and many people have had near-death experiences like myself, and they all relate pretty much the same thing, going through a tunnel of light and everything, which is basically a vortex into another dimension.
So this
And
book is going to cover a lot of that, the contemplating a heaven on earth. Uh,
well, I'm gonna talk about how we get there. That's
yeah.
basically what it is. But I do mention the yugas and all of that. So when I started the book, I thought, oh, this should be really easy because we're in the Sat Yuga. And then one of my teachers from above said you should check with your friend Sam, the Indian priest, and he said, no, doc, it's not true. So I'd already written like a chapter or something. I go, oh shit, man, why did I waste my time? And now some of my other teachers, probably one of my ex-wives was very passionate. She says, don't give up. Don't be a quitter. It'll just be a challenge. I'll help you. And I said, okay, in that case, let's do it. So I had to change the first chapter around quite a bit. And from there on, and a little bit of I was a little bit into the second chapter and everything.
Let's
And
let's talk about what we talked about earlier. Let me bring this book up that you are actually talking
oh
about,
yeah,
in,
there's a
in
Mary
search
Magdalene book.
of the elusive Mary Magdalene by Dr. J. Newton. Now, could you tell us a little bit about that book, Dr.
Okay,
Robert?
so the Jesus book had lots of text in India and Tibet that I could use to fill in his life. But the Mary Magdalene, I swear, there was very little. So I basically, being a public and a private psychic, I did it in public for the Tibetan Foundation for a few years. Um, I used the insights of Edgar Casey and who's that other guy? He has dark hair and a mustache. Uh,
You're not talking about Houdini, are you?
no, no, this guy could do miracles like Houdini, but
Oh, okay.
and Houdini should be respected because he knew stuff. It could have been a Golden Dawn Rosicrucian in a previous lifetime or something like that because he
Hmm.
knew a lot of. Rudolf Steiner
Rudolph,
is the
okay.
other one that I used. I respect both of them immensely. And in Casey's case, a lot of the medical things that the information he brought in has been proven as 100% correct. So when I get some guy that can do medical diagnosis, 100% correct. And Steiner also wrote a book, Atlantis and Lemuria. And in my book, Beyond the Mist of Time When Trees Ruled the Earth, I covered both of those evolved planets as well. But getting back to Mary Magdalene, I found from what Steiner and Casey brought through, I found enough stuff to put together what her personality was. And she was, oh, and also, who was it? It was either Casey or Steiner that brought through that Mary Magdalene was in the Garden of Eden, and she was the one. She was the one that was killed in the garden. Abel. Abel
Yeah.
was the one that was killed, and so that she had a huge distrust of men. And I thought right away, yeah, that makes sense. Those memories go in there, and they don't go away. I don't forget stuff either. People think that they can do stuff to me that's not right, and I'm gonna forget it. Go to God. Actually, undo your karma. Instead, just asking forgiveness doesn't forgive anything.
No, no.
and
There is karma. Yeah.
it violates my ancestor Sir Isaac Newton, whose third law is for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction,
Hmm.
which is part of the golden rule inherently. And what was the other one? There's something else that it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. It's
the law of karma from
so.
India and
So,
from
Dr. Robert, we mentioned that Mary Magdalene could have been an extraterrestrial, and also Jesus. Also, I think that way. I'll
yeah,
just do a disclaimer. I think they were, but I think their teachings were right on. I think they might have copied them down. That it was trying to show us that God is within us and
yeah.
not outside of us. And they're also saying that we should love one another and not have war and kill one another. But it just so happens that that's what we've been doing is
Well, what
war.
you were talking about, the Gnostic texts talk about all of that, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
which is why, yeah, I like some stuff from John 14:12 where Jesus says, and where he says, and and the works that I do shall ye do also, and greater works than these shall ye do, as I go unto my Father.
Hmm.
So um, he knew his stint here was short. I'm positive he was. I don't doubt that he was put on a cross, but I highly doubt that he was dead because in Egypt, no, not in Egypt. Yeah, well, in Egypt, but more in India and Tibet, he learned to go into something that I know a lot about. It's a special breathing technique called samadhi. He knows how to go into the immortalized state of samadhi, and he could have looked dead, but he wasn't dead when they put him in that tomb, which is why he got out of it so quick because he wasn't dead.
Well, who was the man? Was Joseph who took his body, and he took him to his. I guess
Um, I think
was Joseph.
Lazarus and Mary Magdalene could have been involved in that, but you could be right too,
Mhm.
because uh, Jesus had the greatest respect for Mary Magdalene, and in that book, in Search of the Elusive Mary Magdalene, I print a text. It's called the Gospel of the Sophia Jesus Christ. Sophia meaning feminine. And I truly believe she was that. There's about 10 pages up there of the deepest, hardest reading I've ever read. And I still only probably understand 60 to 70% of it after reading it 10 times. But I understand enough to know that it says specifically in there that this feminine is more powerful than the male, and that God is androgynous, neither male or female. And I stopped calling God he and him a long time ago because I knew
Mhm.
that psychically, but I didn't have the proof until I had uh, came across that book. So
Yeah, so we're saying Mary Magdalene actually was married to Jesus, and they had a child. Of course, we think that way, and a lot of scientists are thinking that way, and that Mary Magdalene knew Jesus more than any disciple did,
oh, she
because
was
she
the
was
head
close.
disciple by far. That
Yeah,
the Catholic Church won't talk about that. Like
yeah,
just the fact that so little is known about her from the apocryphal text proves the huge bias, the male bias. I'm trying to think of the word, but there's two words. Um, Women didn't have much respect, but I believe that Mary Magdalene was absolute, and I talk about it in the Jesus book, in the Shadow of a Master, the Unknown Chronicles of Jesus and Mary Magdalene.
hmm,
I talk about it in there, and I'm sure he saw her as a co-equal, but he had to get that message through at that time because of the chauvinistic. There's another word besides show. Oh God, it's right on my, it's right on the tip of my brain. That you know, people didn't listen to women.
no,
Um,
they didn't. Yeah, they There were all there was queens back then. You had uh,
Yeah,
queens in Egypt and
Egypt.
everything else. Yeah, yeah.
But
So
that's Hermetic tradition. That's different. That's
yeah,
they understood. They understood the same thing, the power of the feminine.
hmm
And in fact, I think when a man was um, was a pharaoh, his title had to pass through his sister. So this proves
yeah,
the importance of.
yeah. The bloodline. But you
Yeah.
mentioned the Garden of Eden that Mary Magdalene was there. Are you suggesting this Garden of Eden took place thousands of years before Jesus come? But are you maybe thinking that there's time travel, that they jump or leap in time, Dr. Robert?
Oh well, I'm sure people from Seth knew how to do that. I have no doubt about that. Um, I knew how to do it before I was taught how to do it, so that
Yeah.
might give me some credence for my claim of being from the land of Seth. And the guy that brought that through about Jesus was the Secrets of Sion. The guy's a friend of mine. What's his name? He's written several books, but he actually found that information in a text in the Vatican Library. So,
Yeah,
they
they
have
hide a
so much
yeah,
stuff in there
right.
that,
They hide a lot from us. There's a lot of
yeah, that
truth
would
in there
blow
they
the
don't know.
hell out,
Yeah,
out of their narrative.
yeah. So the land of Seth, could you explain that, Dr. Robert? What is the land of Seth? You said something, it's a star.
Well, it's a planet that's close to the most I know about it. It's a planet that's close to the central sun of the universe. We're way the hell out, and our sun is powerful, but a central sun in a galaxy makes our sun look like a little bonfire compared to a big
So,
conflagration.
yeah, so is that the center of creation, Dr. Robert?
Uh, it's close to it. I mean, um, it's a planet that knows how to live in peace. And this planet would easily live in peace, which is why I wrote this damn book, Contemplating the Heaven on Earth. And now I added something. Uh, what did I add? Stretching, stretching things, because it takes a reprogramming of a mind to be able to see the bigger possibilities. If you've been told over and over again you're a sinner, and yet at the time of Jesus, the word sinner, I looked up, and this is what I learned in my speech in English classes. I learned to study the morphology and the epistemology of words. And the word sinner back at that time meant not doing your best, not living up to your potential, but there's no inherent evilness in it. But the Catholic Church took that word and pejoratized it, which means made it worse.
Oh, they 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 use those words for fear, and fear controls
Yes,
people. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And
That's
brings the ties in, right? Show
yeah,
me the money, baby.
yeah. I hate to be sacrilegious or cut down people.
Uh-huh.
I fought for people to have their freedom of religion. They can do
Yeah,
what they
so did
want.
I.
Yes, and they can go and take comfort in what they're doing in church and religion. That's great. I'm not against that.
No, me
But
either.
my own personal, and I know your own personal thoughts are that you would assume that God is within us and we can talk to Him anytime we want. Is that right,
Well,
Dr. Robert?
yes, absolutely. Look. Here's the thing, and I talk about that in this book, contemplating the heaven on earth. Here's a couple things that tie in with that thing where people in one area can pick up information from another area that they don't even know about. That's talked about
hmm
in Ken Key's book, The 100th Monkey, and also in Rupert Sheldrake's book, uh, Morphic Resonance. Um,
Oh, you were talking about the guest I had on that talked about
yeah, that
the
guy we were
voice
talking
morphing.
about.
Yeah, I think that's my buddy Steve and Mira. I believe we had, voice
So
morphing
I
skull to
go into
voice technology.
yeah, I go into depth into this. I'm showing this is why I know we can go into a heaven on earth without even a majority of the people, um, and why we can affect other people that haven't even heard us because the thoughts go out with the atoms. The atoms are like a big computer,
Mm-hmm.
and um, in Indian tradition, we have the Akashic records, which were it's believed that all the information is stored in this in the heavens, the higher dimensions, and things like that. And Dr. J.J. Hurtak talks about that in the Keys of Enoch. He said that there was a big computer in the central sun of the universe. And when I first heard that, I went, "Oh wow, this guy's crazy, cuckoo, cuckoo." But I kept my mind open. I don't shut down things, and all of a sudden I started finding stuff from quantum physics and stuff that, yeah, in fact, that could be true. So there's that's why I said to you, there's no dense matter, even though it appears to be so. And I go into all the comparisons that the Hindus knew it, the Greeks knew it, the Egyptians knew it. Um, Hermes Trismegistus definitely knew it. Um, he was in Egypt and in Greece. Um, so this is the essence of God. It's this big energy field of atoms and subparticles like photons, which are light. And all
Art.
the books talk about how God is everywhere. And I used to think about that. And I'm going, how the hell could God be everywhere? And then when I started getting into atoms, I go, oh, this is not so hard to figure out. And
Yeah.
if it's only
Yeah.
energy, it's easy to be everywhere. So this intense field, this is like, what did I say there? Like,
Yeah. Well, God is inside of us. That's why He's everywhere. That's where
yeah,
that statement comes from. Yeah. It's in
yeah.
everything.
So in in uh, in in one cell, one human cell, there are 3 to 4 million atoms in one packed into one cell, and we got thousands of millions of cells.
Yeah. Trillions,
So
actually, of human body. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
millions and billions and
Yeah.
trillions and quadrillions.
Right. Yeah. Uh,
No, actually,
I had.
I think it was there are one. I found this recently. There's 1 trillion to 1 quadrillion amount of atoms in a cell, and the question I was asking in my book and contemplating the heaven on earth, I talk about how one immortalizes their body in this lifetime, not having to go to heaven to experience heaven, not having to die and go to heaven to experience heaven. And there is there are so many atoms and we're all surrounded by them, you can't avoid it. There's no reason why we can't get along. Like you said about wars, you and I have experienced it, and we know how
Mhm.
damn stupid it is, too.
Yes.
I was going to use the God word in front of that, but I decided.
Yeah. It just wouldn't be fitting, Dr. Robert. But no, you were talking about the voices morphing, and I actually think our technology today, the scientists, and you mentioned some of your notes, subliminal and neural linguistic
Programming.
programming. Yeah,
Yeah.
and could you tell us a little bit about that, Dr. Robert?
Well, it's a real easy way to reprogram your mind from negativity to positivity. And
Oh, we need
the
that.
way, yeah, and it's easy. And I guess it's like a type of hypnosis, but it's more conscious. Um, you see a picture of your situation in the middle of a box, and then over here see if I can get my that in the box here in the middle. Oh wow, look at that big finger! Oh my god, they are
Yeah.
big. And then in one corner, you see what you want and the picture of what you want to be, and then you move it up like this and fade out the other picture, and that's how you can can reprogram something that is one way into another way with not a lot of effort. I mean, theta healing is really good. Um, what's that? Where they put people? Hypnosis is really good too.
Mhm.
But this you can do yourself really quick.
In all of our ancient times, we had tones and singing, and we had chanting mantras, and I guess that put people in a kind of a spell, or changed their minds, or controlled them. Maybe, Dr. Robert.
Yeah, it pulls you up in the higher level.
Yeah. So.
That's what Kriya Kundalini yoga that I teach. That's what it's about. Is uplifting yourself out of the so-called limitations of birth up into up and out of that, and it involves. I teach seminars in it when there's enough interest. It's a very uh, unique breath to yoga or anything else. Um, it's a breath that whatever you inhale, you exhale twice as long. And you have to
Mhm.
put your tongue in a certain position, and you put your eyes in another position. That those are called mudras. And I've got it where I can do one breath about every 50 seconds, and that, and I can do something where I can go into something that's called Nivrakalpa samadhi, which is a temporary samadhi where the breathing and the heart stops for periods of time. But in Sarupa samadhi, once you get enough potential built up in your spinal cord and your cerebral spinal fluid and what's that other stuff? Oh, the that nerve that goes.
The sciatic nerve, or the
No, it's anyway.
the nerve central that goes down the
It
middle of your
ties into
backbone.
it goes starts at the medulla oblongata in the back,
Yeah,
that soft spot in the back, and it goes down and it connects to all the organs in the body. The
yeah.
vagus nerve.
Vegas. Okay. All right. All right.
I know so much stuff. Sometimes I get crowded with information.
I know what you mean. I hear so much stuff about the ETs and UFOs. It's hard to kind of, your mind just jams it all up, and it's trying to come out, and you just want to, you need to back off and just kind of take a piece by piece
Well,
method.
the fact that we have that stuff at Area 51, the fact that in the Temple of Abydos there's pictures inside the temple that are written with planes and spaceships and
Yeah.
submarines and stuff going back thousands of years ago. My,
Yeah.
my, might want to make you think. And when you see the precision that those pyramids are built, like the Great Pyramid, over a half a mile, I think it's plus or minus an inch into square. And I don't even think they could do that today with geopositioning, but they might be able to.
There's some people who argue with me and said that we're able to do that, build a pyramid like that. I'm not quite so sure. That'd be it costs so much money nowadays to do that. Just for moving a few of those big stones.
Well,
Now, let me ask you a question, Dr. Robert.
Let Trump take it on.
Yeah, yeah, he's a builder. Yeah,
But he needs me to help him to pick the right materials
yeah,
because inside the king's chamber where I teleported out of my body from the sarcophagus when I was meditating, it's all full of rose granite, which is not only piezoelectric, but it also specifically opens a heart, and also that pyramid angle in that Great Pyramid, which is 51.4 to 51.6 degrees. They rounded up to 52 degrees. that also resonates with the heart as well. So the people that did this stuff, we're peanut brains.
Yeah, really.
Although we don't have to be peanut brains, but and
Well, they're actually saying, Dr. Robert, that we as humans throughout our history, thousands of years you go back, that we were highly intelligent, beings that could do that stuff by ourselves. We don't need extraterrestrials to help us. What do you think about that, Dr. Robert? Do you think it was extraterrestrial intervention in technology?
oh yeah, there has been, and DARPA has a hell of a lot more than what they've released or talked about.
I know.
This 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 cell phone was from DARPA,
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
and they also built something called a chronolyzer, like what was that series? Stargate. Um, they also built a chronolyzer with counter-rotating wheels with magnets and crystals and stuff in it, allowed them to go forward and backward in time. So,
Yeah.
and also they found one of those in the green zone in Iraq, and they also found a mini Ark of the Covenant, like a little box that glowed with with light, a
Yeah.
little copper box.
Where did you get this information, Dr. Robert?
The
I,
stuff about the little box was from a guy that there were lapis lazuli, little tablets and plates in there that had writing, and this guy was called in to translate them. It was probably in Sumerian, and he said it was very open the first couple days, and then after that they closed it to all except the most essential people. So because of the information he gave them, they realized they had something really special, and they didn't want
right.
people to know about it. So the question I would ask, and I'll bet you would be on this train too. The whole thing in Iraq, Saddam Hussein probably had about three chemical weapons or something like that, but not enough to warrant an
Right.
invasion.
You read my mind, Dr. Robert. I was going to go there about the chemical
I know.
warfare that yeah, you know that, huh? I
Yeah,
was going there, and
yeah,
you
it
went
pissed
there
me
already.
off. And I'm basically conservative politically. But I'm independent. What pissed me off is dumb Bush let uh, Dick Cheney convince him to go into this. Dick Cheney knew, wasn't he involved in the CIA at one
Oh
time?
yes, that
Yeah.
man knew
So
everything.
yeah,
Yes.
and he was a real power behind the throne. I call
Yes.
him dumb Bush, but uh,
Well, if you saw the movie had him and Cheney sitting at a table and talking
I
when
didn't
Bush
see
wanted
that.
him, yeah, when Bush asked him to be his vice president, and then Cheney said, "Only if I can call the shots."
Yeah, he did. I knew
Yeah,
he was,
yeah, he was calling the shots.
because Junior wasn't smart enough. Just
Yeah,
like Kamala Harris wasn't smart enough to pass a bar exam. She had someone else taking for, and neither was Joe Biden. They had someone else take it for him. How do I know
yeah.
it's hard? Because I took it myself.
Right. Yeah. But the cabal is taking care of a lot of that stuff. The deep state, Dr. Robert.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So they promote people from within, like in Hollywood, but you got to sacrifice something to get something. I think that's what they do. But that's yeah, that's beyond that point. That's what's going on today. That's where all the corruption comes in. But we talk about this quantum physics and quantum entanglement. You were mentioning that if something happens here, it can happen some several thousand miles away at the same time. Like if you
Yeah.
take some DNA and then you heat it up, well, actually the DNA some thousands of miles away is going to behave in the same manner as that DNA that they're heating up in a little
Yeah.
petri dish.
Well, there
Yeah.
was this one example in Ken Key's book where they had this process that involved bacteria or something like that, and all of
Hmm.
a sudden, the bacteria that they were using wasn't usable for this chemical processing needs. So they went to another part of the earth, and So it shows a bacteria can change way quicker than dumbass human.
Yes. Yeah, some of that stuff, I guess you can look back on and take a think
Cuckoo,
this one.
cuckoo.
Yeah, you're quite a character, Dr. Robert. I didn't know that you had that sense of humor about you. You also,
I had to survive this long.
yeah, I know. I hear you. I need that too. And matter of fact, I shaved off my beard. You got a beard. I
Yeah,
had
I
one
thought
just
you
like
would
you.
look different.
Yeah, yeah. I shaved my beard off, thinking maybe, well, maybe it's not it's maybe it's not for me. But I found out, and my wife told me. She said, "You look better in a beard." I said, "Okay." So I decided that I'm growing it back. You can see some of the
Well,
stuff.
I think you look. I think people look younger without the beard, but you know what? We should talk about that because not only the hair,
You got some hair.
not
I don't
only
have
the
any hair.
hair,
Oh, you got a ponytail. Okay.
not only the hair, but beards and pubic hairs and stuff are antennas into the higher dimensions.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what
And
the
Kriya
Vril
Kundalini
Society.
yogas. Who
Yeah.
said?
The Vril Society back in World War II with Hitler, and they were advisors to him. These women.
Oh, his
Yeah,
psychic women, his group.
yeah,
Yeah, they were quite amazing. They
yeah.
were
I
going
think.
into the Indian. They were going into the betas and getting propulsion systems
Yeah.
that are described there.
Hmm. They were helping Hitler out
And
there for a while.
if Prescott Bush, who was helping fund the United States and the Allied efforts, and was funding the Nazis, if they hadn't cut the Nazis' funds off, they would have stomped us into oblivion.
I know they would have had the nuclear bomb if we didn't do
Yeah.
something premeditated. Yeah, it could have been a whole different kind of world, but the way the world is shaping up, I just hope that we can get into peace. I'm sure that's what our
That's why I
Creator.
wrote my book, because I prove how that can all happen.
Yeah,
And believe me, I've written about 18 books, and I took from some of my other books, but I got new perspectives by going back into those other books. And I started learning how atoms really work, and it's not how I thought. I thought that they spun like this and everything, but no, they work orbitally like this. And I don't know why that makes a difference, but it does make a difference in the way the energy would be dispensed.
yeah. Can you
Along,
tell me in quantum entanglement, does prayer do us any good?
yeah,
Sometimes you can
but
pray all.
you have to see the person you're praying for, and you have to see what you want to happen.
Yeah,
I've gotten some really good feedback on some distance healing I did, and I didn't even know I helped this person, and they told me recently, they said, "You helped me so much, I'm be eternally grateful to you." And that really made me feel good, because I didn't usually get much feedback.
yeah. I think
And
you have to have contact with that person to make a prayer or lay. They call it put hands on or lay hands on.
yeah,
They talk about that through religious rites throughout the centuries, Dr. Robert.
you can run through these chakras. There's chakras here that are never hardly ever talked about.
Hmm.
You can run those atoms as far as you want. They stimulated this atom in a quantum physics experiment, and they traced it 10 billion miles from where they started out. So
Wow.
these things are perpetual, and they
Yeah.
don't wear out. And I started to say, when I was talking about a trillion to quadrillion atoms for one cell, and in my book I asked, since that is true, not if it's true, since that is true, why do the cells in the body expire? And I concluded it's from our thoughts and emotions,
That's
that
what
we
a lot of people are
literally
saying.
are
Yeah.
killing ourselves that way.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm absolutely certain I do know what talking about, and um, I brought myself back from a really bad emotional situation that almost killed me. My whole body was ravaged, and
Yeah.
it took me a long time to figure out what I needed to do. First, I was led to the herbal stuff. Then I was told, well, you're the problem. You're the one that's making the problem. So you can undo the sickness. I mean, if there are three, if there are 3 billion viruses or 3 billion bacteria and 4 billion bacteria and 3 billion viruses, would not one want to think, at least I want to think, they must be there for a reason. And I jump right into that subject, germ theory, and I prove how it's not even true.
Hmm.
That really what's going on is an immunodeficiency in the body. And I know that's controlled by our thoughts and emotions. So that's why I can conclude that that's the cause of all misfortune. I'm going through a rough stretch myself right now. Not physically so much. It's like everything I do, it's not working out, which means I'm out of balance. I'm out of
Yeah.
sync.
I've seen a lot of people, and they as they get older and they retire, they feel irrelevant. That I had talked to some people, and I said, well, to stay relevant, you have to have goals every day. You have to have a
Yeah,
purpose. Those are important words, and I think Dr. Robert, you know that, and myself, I think the same way. There's got to be goals, got to be purpose, and then you got to have a routine that you keep following. And some older people I've seen on the internet, if you can believe some of this, they say they don't know how they lived until there's 96 or 97. They really don't know. They said maybe it was luck, but then
no, it
scientists
wasn't
say
luck.
Yes, then scientists say telomeres, those telomeres that are
Yeah,
attached to the DNA, that tells you how long you're going to live. Is that true, Dr. Robert?
no, that can be augmented and stuff. So here's the thing: after about 55 cell replications from the telomere, the what do you call that thing? Anyway, I'll get it in a minute. Your cells start getting, most people, the cells start wearing out either through incomplete copies or new cells aren't created at all. And this is what, even though I despise allopathic medicine, and I quantify why in my new book, I mean, contemplating heaven on earth. Um, and this came from oncology research, which I hate even more.
Yeah,
I like
that's
cured myself of cancer just using the grape diet for about a week or two.
a grape diet.
about, about 1991, yeah.
Yeah. There's so
As a
many
lots of,
fads. You get on the internet, you see everything. They say, well, take some turmeric, take lemon juice,
well,
and
turmeric
that'll
is good,
Yeah, those
but
things are good for you, but how often can you do that? Because life changes. You change your mind about which way. Then they come up with another solution. Okay, do this, do that. I mean, we're in a world where everybody's looking for the truth and how to live longer. But the best thing to do is not think about living longer, but living happy. And
yeah,
and and don't and like I said a while ago, you your life, you want to live it, you just don't want to prepare yourself for death all the time. I know people are laying around waiting to die, and you
yeah, I know.
can't do that.
Well,
That's
God gets blamed for this, but I would say we're responsible for it. Remember how I was talking about the cells and I was asking a question, why are the cells dying when they're made from atoms? How the hell can they
yeah, yeah, yeah,
die?
yeah,
Well, this is what they found out with this epigenesis having to do with the telomeres and all of this. They found out that you can literally create a whole bunch more a whole bunch better by being happy
Yeah.
and laughing and
Hmm.
singing and dancing and stuff. And
Right.
they sell medicine for this, but you don't need it because you can do it yourself. It's just like the, for the Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, you can create um, more more positivity by what am I looking for? In the dope, you can create more dopamine through those positive thoughts and everything too. So that's
Yeah.
really important. And
That's
then what you
important.
said about people having interest in stuff. So I saw this study. I applied to this newsletter. It was on longevity, and they found out that the people that lived the longest were the people that were really passionate about doing things, and a lot of them even drank and smoked a lot, and they were
Yeah.
still healthy because.
Right. Yeah.
So
I've known. Yeah.
that's not the cause. What the
Yeah.
medicine tells you.
Yeah. Well, sometimes too much medicine is not good for us, and we should take the more homeopathic way and try to, you know, take these certain elements or vitamins or
Well,
not so many vitamins, but herbal medicines and stuff.
homeopathy, homeopathy and herbology. I haven't seen this anywhere other than what I've gotten from above, but I believe I'm positive. I more than believe. I'm positive, which means I know that they change your thought field and your outlook somehow. I don't exactly know how they're doing it, but I know what's happening.
Hmm.
So I don't have to know how it happens if I know it. If I know
Yeah.
it does happen.
Now you're taking me to another topic. Do you think that we have scientific data or technology and some of the bad people are using it?
Yeah,
Black operations, secret operations are
yeah. Let
using
me
it to
explain one.
control our minds, Dr. Robert?
Um, you know that Russia syndrome thing where people in Cuba were getting sicker than hell
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
all of that.
Hmm.
Well, I just found out recently, and I might have to use this to save my own life too. 'Cause low level microwave can make a person really sick and even kill them. And that's what happened to those people there. That they were being bombarded from the Soviet embassy into the American embassy, and these people were just coming up with this diseases and sicknesses that were indescribable, but they
Yeah,
were in
that's
great
yeah,
pain.
right. That's Havana syndrome. Yeah,
Yeah, Havana syndrome.
yeah. And let
Yeah,
me ask you a question. They use this weapon on some of these people who disappeared. You know, the 12 scientists and everything that disappeared.
yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, Dr. Robert?
Well, I'll tell you what. We better start taking better care of our side. They need to be sequestered and stuff. This is a wake up call, and I don't know
Mhm.
if people are smart enough to see it. I would basically put China as the main culprit behind it.
Yeah. There's so many things going on we don't understand. Actually, in Venezuela, our military might have used a low frequency weapon to
Yeah,
put a lot of those soldiers down. And
you know what?
so,
You were right. They said they met no resistance, so they were using that
mhm,
technology that I talked about, or
right.
something similar there to the low level microwave. So it would be at a low hertz level. And normally that low hertz level is a meditative um, brain wave, like 4 to 13 hertz or alpha and theta. But um,
It actually made a lot of these guys sick on the ground. Those Venezuelan soldiers,
that's
they
exactly
got
what was
yeah,
happening to
they
those
got sick.
people in Havana.
Yeah, the Havana syndrome. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what's going on. And if I'm not sure, they're using it on wide spans, I guess, across the globe because a lot of people are behaving differently. A lot of people are not happy, and it's not just politics. It's about life itself. The struggle now is more. Everything costs more, and people are depressed. You know, Dr. Robert. Uh,
Yeah.
how do we cure all that? I mean, we all have our ups and downs.
Well, singing, dancing, laughing, exercise, all of that
Mhm.
stuff would be a kind of thing. I'm starting to think that when I had that issue that I went through, it started out as kidney stones, which I got rid of really quick with my pomegranate.
Yeah, that I heard that does well.
No,
Yeah.
cranberry concentrate. Man, this stuff is, oh my God. I've taken a lot of herbs that are bitter and stuff. This stuff is so sour, man. It'll make your hair stand straight up. It'll make your hair return, David.
Yeah, maybe I should drink cranberry, Dr. Robert. Yeah, we're coming up on, but yeah, I need that brush back, I guess. But no, that we're coming up on an hour, and I just want you to tell people that about how they can find your works, your books, and things of that nature. Dr. Robert J. Newton.
Okay, well, all my books are on Amazon. Dr. Robert J. Newton, and then um, just basically Google books by Robert J. Newton on Kindle or Amazon, and they'll come up. When I'm at expos and stuff, I'll sell paperback copies of stuff.
Hmm.
I can't compete with the price that Amazon can do it, and really,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, uh, you. It's pretty hard to be a millionaire being an author, but you could be a Turkish lira millionaire because a million Turkish lira is only worth a few dollars.
It just all depends on what country you go to, how rich you are, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
no, it's been
Well, I doubt if that million liras buys very much.
yeah, it's really been a pleasure talking to you. We kind of jumped around different topics, and I hope people will enjoy that. Listening to we went from, I knew this was going to happen because the way I talked to you early on pre-show, your topics, I thought I was going to stay on a couple of your books or whatever, but once you said you know about quantum physics and you've done a lot of this stuff, I wanted to hear what your thoughts were on all these other issues, and I might have just rattled them off to you, but
I'm,
we. Hopefully, we had a good conversation and people will enjoy it.
I'm going to be doing a little docu series on Gnostic TV, so that might be out in mid to late June or something like that.
Gnostic TV, will that be on
It'll be,
YouTube, I guess?
yeah, it'll be put on YouTube.
Okay. Maybe I'll make
And I have
make
a
a
few
note of it.
things on YouTube too. I have a
Okay.
really good thing I have on YouTube. Using the word consciousness as a key to immortality. I do a 5-part presentation, and that stretched my ass, but it's based on the linguistic arithmetic of gematria, which is one of my special tools that I use to figure things out that you can't figure
Mhm.
out in any other way
Okay.
or
All
any
right.
other book.
Okay. Thank you so
All
much,
right.
Dr.
Thank you.
Robert J. Newton. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And we're going to close out the show by saying this is Dave Emmons with The Strange Reality and Dr. Robert J. Newton that we just
Oh,
talked to for the
strange
past hour.
also.
Yeah, I'm strange too, I guess you could
No,
say. Like
I'm
you
talking
make
about me.
Oh, okay. No, you got a sense of humor that's out of this world, and maybe that's going to make you live a lot longer, Dr. Robert. So let's keep up that joy and do you dance too?
Yeah.
Okay, good, good. All right, this is Dave Emmons with Strange Reality, Dr. Robert J. Newton. We're signing off. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Robert. Bye bye.